Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. Today's pick a card reading is about looking at the particulars of your situation and what guidance and detailed guidance that they want to bring through. And I actually wrote down the idea for today's reading on a napkin, as you can see. So we're going to be looking at the details of your current situation. Doesn't have to be a problem, but we're going to look at the situation itself, get as much detail as we can on the solution or what Spirit wants to bring through in terms of guidance. So we have 3 channels images to choose from. Group number 1 was seeds in a fallow field. That was what they showed me, and that's what they had me type in terms of the prompt for the AI generated image. Group number 2 is the 4 seasons in one picture of this one tree. And then group number 3 is the person painting details of a scene on a canvas. So choose the one that you feel the most drawn to, and if you feel drawn to more than one, that's fine. There may just be multiple messages or readings here for you today, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. You guys chose the image of the seeds in the field. So I immediately feel like the situation itself is in its, I'm hearing inception, but I was going to say almost like conception point. Like it's not necessarily in full bloom yet. There's something that's being seeded. They are telling me that there's consciousness seeds that are being planted right now, but there are certain things that need to be done with the field. You know, the field is like the mind or the perhaps even the body or the light body, and how you're able to receive those seeds and grow them. So it's kind of like there's no point planting seeds in a field that is not going to be able to sustain the growth of that plant. So what they want you to do here with this reading is to receive the information and then go out and apply it. That's what they're showing me. And they're showing somebody tilling a field and actually doing something. So I think there's going to be some actions here that Spirit is recommending in terms of the details that you can apply your focus to shift your physical situation to allow these seeds to take root. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at your cards. We're going to start with the Wisdom of the Oracle. Okay, that card seems to... Oh, there's 2. Round and round. This may be a karmic pattern of some kind, type of situation that you've done. They're showing me in my mind. They keep going on with this analogy of like the seeds and planting and, laying the fields or whatever. Because what they're showing me in my mind is somebody through the seasons planting and then harvesting and then tilling and then letting it sit for a bit and then planting again. So there's something about like these cycles of continuing to move with the seasons. I feel like you may have messages in group number 2. Group 1 and 2 have been like sisters the past couple of readings I've done. Group 1 and 2 always seem to be like either mirroring the similar energy or it's like an extension of the story. I don't know what's up with that. It's just been in the past few readings. But anyway, there's something here about like cycles of time, and that's why I was seeing it associated with group 2, because their image is to do with like the seasons. Okay, now you also have, not for you. The prompt that they had me type in to generate the image was seeds in a fallow field, and I don't know what fallow means, so maybe I should research that. But there's something about what I kind of took from it was planting seeds in a field that is barren, but I think fallow may actually mean that it's been tilled and it's like aerated and it's ready for planting, or you let it sit fallow for a period of time is what they're showing me, to let it sort of recuperate itself and then you plant. But there's a period of time that you can't plant. What is up with all of these farming analogies or farming metaphors? The Spirit is they're just on that today. Fork in the road. Okay, so you've got some decisions to make, and there's something that was not for you that continued to repeat over and over and over. Or maybe they're saying, yeah, they're telling me that this is about you changing your approach. It's you changing the way that you're doing something, because the old cycle, the old way of continuing to do that isn't working anymore. Change the approach. They keep saying that. Okay. So there's something that's not for you, and that's why they want you to see this, is because the way you were doing it was not creating results. And so you've come up against sort of a barrier here. It's like, okay, I'm planting these seeds and nothing is growing. What's going on? And so this is the fork in the road. So let's talk about this. I feel this one on top too. Yang, and I knew that action was going to be part of this. I mentioned that in the intro. So it feels like you're going to need to take some kind of physical action here, group number one, to implement a change, to implement a shift. And choosing a direction, I think, is part of that. They're having me do this with my hand. So sometimes when I'm channeling, my body will just do stuff because my mind is kind of like half and half in between here in the spirit realm. So they want this card. Between worlds. Okay, first of all, I'm laughing because I was just saying I'm like between worlds right now as I channel. And secondly, that's kind of what I was getting with the fork in the road. This could also be about being between cycles. Okay, let's get some of these vintage vibe cards. Thank you, Michelle. I love this deck. So you guys are kind of like in between something right now, and there is an option of a new direction that you're kind of being encouraged to take here by Spirit, because the situation that you're in or that you've been pursuing or the way you've been taking action is no longer working anymore. It's not viable, is what they just said. It's not viable. So meaning it's not sustainable. And I think that's why they're referring this to agricultural practices. Because if we look at the type of agricultural practices that we have now versus what we had thousands of years ago, the type of mass production that we're doing is not sustainable. So I think there's a direct correlation in metaphor to your situation and that example, group number one. So how does that apply to you? You know, how is this showing up in your life? What are you doing, taking action that's maybe not sustainable because you're trying to do something on a mass scale, or you're trying to do something and like push the limits constantly, and it's leading to exhaustion, drainage, burnout, or just not seeing results because you're trying to push something that's clearly not for you. And so you're being given this option of like, okay, you got to go a different way. There's a different option here. There's a different route. So I want to explore kind of like what that's about. Embrace beautiful chaos. Embrace beautiful chaos. It's like the old system doesn't work anymore. And so it's almost like, okay, let's embrace chaos and just do something completely differently that you've never done before, that you've never tried. This is going into the unknown a little bit and taking action in a new way. Embrace the journey. I love that you have this card, especially with the fork in the road card and the between worlds card. Like, you are meant to embrace the journey right now in the old cycle of repeating and repeating and repeating, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It doesn't work anymore. Maybe at one time it did, group number one. Maybe at one time it did, but for whatever reason, right now, that's not going to work. Especially if you want to leave a legacy. Because they just drew me to that word, legacy, in this card. So if you want to leave a legacy, it needs to be something that is sustainable. And they keep giving me this energy that like whatever you've been doing, the way you've been doing it is not sustainable. Like here on this chessboard in Not For You, maybe you're like sending out all of your players without thinking about what you're doing, and then they're just getting knocked out and you're like, what's going wrong? Well, it's like strategy, planning for the future, planning a route that is sustainable. That's why they're kind of facing you with a crossroads here and encouraging you to take new action in a different way. Because you're at this crossroads where it's like you can't keep doing what you were doing because it's just going to deplete you and leave you in this sort of dark, drained energy. And they're encouraging you to walk into this new environment or new way of doing things. New approach is what they said in my head, new approach. That's going to leave you more vibrant, refreshed. And I'm seeing the crown on the flamingo's head talking about like sovereignty, feeling more autonomous, as though you're in control of the situation, but you're not controlling it for the sake of controlling it, because you're embracing, you know, the divine order of things, which can sometimes come off a little bit chaotic. Like there's order to the chaos. There's always order to the chaos. But sometimes we have to really kind of let go of our need for that sense of control and instead gain control through our inner security, our inner autonomy, our inner sovereignty. I actually filled those 2 cards. No, they said that one is, and that one. Okay, so we have 4 more from this deck. Great things take time. Okay, so that's another thing when it comes to these seeds, right? The seeds that you're planting are going to take time to grow. And how you're planting them is important, and where you're planting them is important, and the cycles on which you're planting them is important. So let's say, for example, this is a work situation. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but let's say, for example, it is. And you're putting in all of this work, and you're doing it day after day, week after week, month after month, and you're going at it hard. Ooh, the wind just picked up outside, and there's like a little tornado going on. The leaves are going in a circle, like this spiral energy, which reminds me of round and round cycles, spiraling energy. So if you're feeling like you're caught in a loop, group number 1, that's not really going to get you anywhere. You can spiral forward, but I'm feeling like it's just going around in circles. And so if this is a work situation, you're not going to end up progressing. And then what Spirit is saying is, well, clearly this isn't for you, because the whole point of doing anything is evolution. That's the only reason souls do anything ever, is for evolution, either to evolve ourselves or to evolve others, which is really kind of the same thing, just at different scales. So this is going to take time, first of all. Second of all, they want you to embrace the journey, because this is going to take time. And I think there's still a lot to learn here, group number 1, because they keep showing me the chess pieces on this board. So there's something that it's like you need to learn the rules of the game, or you need to understand when to make the right moves. And they keep showing me planning 3 steps ahead. And like that's the thing with chess. You can know how to play chess, and you can know how to make a move, but to be really good at it, you have to understand the entire system and embrace the order in that chaos, and find the route or the move or the plan of action that is going to get you ahead and win the game, which means you have to be like 3 to 5 steps ahead at every given point. And what I'm seeing with this old cycle was that the actions you were taking were really only like 1 step ahead, or not even that. It was just like, let's take this action in the moment, and we'll just see what happens. Or like, this is what I need right now, so this is the action I'm going to take. But you're not planning for the future. You're not allowing yourself to think bigger, to think more large scale. And so you've kind of been caught in limbo. So what is Spirit recommending you do, or which paths are opening up here? Own your dreams. They really want you to follow your dreams. They want you to be conscious of what you desire, that's what I just heard from Spirit. Be conscious of what you desire. The crown, again, I was seeing the crown on the flamingo's head, and now we have the word crown. So crowns are about sovereignty. It's about autonomy. It's like independence, being governor of your own life. It's like being in rulership of your dreams, your desires, your actions. It's also connected to the crown chakra, which is what connects you to the other realms. That's like kind of the bridge between worlds. And they are showing me you evolving. Oh, look, we have another crown here. I didn't even see that until I looked down. Golden crown. Ooh. They want you to take action on your dreams in a new way. So I'm curious about what that is. Be in love with your life. Dreaming, again, the word dreaming really just stood out to me there. Keep dreaming, keep dreaming. Okay. So they don't want you to give up on your dreams. They just want you to have a plan of action here, group 1. It's really important that you have a strategy. That's the word they just used, strategy. What is your strategy? And how is that effective long term? Is that scalable? Something like that. Like, for example, if you're going to mass produce something, is it scalable? Can you sustain that energy-wise? Can you actionably do that for the long term? Is that something that's going to work for everyone involved? Or just for you, if this is just a you thing? But I feel like you've kind of been zigzagging around, group number 1, and like they want you to, there's nothing wrong with that. First of all, let me just say there's nothing wrong with zigzagging. There's nothing wrong with kind of walking this meandering path. And there's nothing wrong with even cycling back on yourself, because eventually your soul will be like, nah, this isn't it. And you'll say, no, this is not for me. And then you'll choose a new direction. You'll take a new action, and you'll get into this liminal space where you're moving out of one reality and into another. As you change your actions, you change your reality. So it's kind of like inevitable that will happen either way. So, I mean, don't worry about it, but also be aware that this is something they're encouraging you to do, is take action in a new way. Impossible is often the untried. They definitely want you to try something new. And it needs to be something that you enjoy doing. I'm getting that message really strongly, group 1. They want you to enjoy and be in love with what you're doing. So if you're trying to do something and you're repeating this cycle and it's like backbreaking work over and over and over again, you're not going to get that yield. You're not going to get that harvest that you desire, because it needs to be fun. You need to enjoy it. Back when I did Akashic readings, there was one specific style of Akashic reading that I did, and it's called the 7D Manifesting Blueprint. And you can find out more information through the links in the description box below if you guys want to find out what that is or get training in it or whatever. But the 7D Manifesting Blueprint talks about a bunch of different principles about how souls manifest and create their reality. And each soul is different. And there's several different, well, there's 7 in total, 7 different facets of that. But the one that I'm seeing here that's significant to your reading is something called process versus outcome. So some souls are process souls, which means that if you don't enjoy what you're doing, if you don't enjoy the process of what you're doing and who you're becoming in that process, you are not going to manifest the dreams that you're setting out for, that you're putting action toward. Like if you hate what you're doing, you're going to hate what you get. No matter if you think you're moving in the right direction or not, you're going to hate what you get because you're going to get what you're doing. Outcome people are a little different. They can set a goal and they can kind of like do a little bit of that dirty work and just grind it out, and they will get to that goal and they can manifest it. But I'm seeing here, group number 1, if you were drawn to this particular reading, you're most likely a process person, because they're talking a lot about enjoying the journey, being in love with your life. These things are very process oriented. And I can tell you, as a process soul myself, I have seen time and time again that my manifestations come to naught if I do not enjoy what I'm doing. If I absolutely hate it, I get shitty results, okay? Straight up. And it's becoming really in love and engaged and passionate about what you're doing. And they keep telling me you need to follow your dreams, group number 1. So if you're hitting up against brick walls and you're coming up to these crossroads, it's because they're trying to redirect you, your soul, really, but also your spirit guides, your higher self, your angels, etc. Everyone, your whole soul team is trying to redirect you towards what you're meant to be doing. And what you're meant to be doing is going to feel good. It's going to feel liberating. It's going to feel fun. So if it doesn't feel like that, shift your approach, change your approach, try doing it differently. And if that doesn't work, try something else. Because they're really talking about the untried here. So there's something you haven't tried. And I think treating yourself could be part of this as well. They're talking a lot about beauty. I did notice that. I'm seeing it here in this card, but I saw it in a couple of other ones as well. Here, this one. Beauty. So there's something about maybe creating something beautiful, like, instead of growing a field of crops, you could create a garden instead. You're still planting seeds, but you're just doing it in a different environment and for a different reason. It's kind of like, instead of planting an entire field of turnips, you can plant a garden of roses that you really enjoy tending to, and it's not such back-breaking labor. And you really get this sense of gratification when you see them blooming. And then instead of, just eating the turnips out of the field, you're able to sell the roses and buy the food that you want. Does that make sense? It's like, this is the metaphor that they're showing me, and I'm not sure how that's going to apply to your life directly, but this is what they're saying. It's like, don't do the back-breaking work just to make ends meet. Do the work you love, and the beauty from that, through the process of it, through the embracing of that dream, through the joy that it brings, you're going to receive 10 times what you would get from the back-breaking labor. And that's why they want you to see this, so that you can plan ahead and you can maybe like buy rose seeds instead, or like till a garden instead of a field. Switching your approach is what they keep saying, like switching your approach. Same skills, right? Same skills to grow a field of vegetables as it is to grow a rose garden. Well, not the same, but there's crossover, right? It's kind of the same. It's similar enough, and you could do it, right? If you've got a green thumb, you got a green thumb. If you're good at something, you can do that, but in a different way, and it's going to create more specifically income. And they're showing me like resources and your needs being met. So this is I think talking about career, but it could be really anything. Okay, let's get some of the Muse cards here, because we're going to go really deep in this reading. I want to get as much detail as I can for you. Okay, interesting. You got the Seven of Voices. This is the Seven of Swords, one of the most notorious cards in the tarot as being the card that we don't like to see, or at least I don't. But in the light side, the Seven of Swords can talk about being honest with yourself. It can talk about being clear about what you're wanting. It's like being true to yourself. And the reason we don't like to see it is because it heralds deception. Like there's something going on that is either behind the scenes, behind your back, or even you deceiving or rationalizing your own actions. So I think the Seven of Swords in this case, given the other messages that are here in the reading, is actually a good thing, because it's helping you to kind of see your own reflection. Look at this. You've got like this gray version of you and this light, colorful version, and it's reminding me a lot of this. Same imagery. Spirit will use imagery and symbolism to get the message across. It's a form of imprinting, is what they're telling me. Imprinting, it's like subliminal messaging that activates certain levels of your consciousness. So they use imagery to wake you up, to get you moving, to unlock keys, they're telling me, unlocking keys within the mind and bridging the gap. Look, between the worlds. You're between worlds right now, but you're going to bridge the gap and you're going to find your way to this world that's really fully lit up. Like Technicolor. They're showing me going from black and white to Technicolor. Sweating it out and grinding it out in the fields, to like really seeing the red roses and being able to like stop and enjoy and smell that. It's beautiful what they're showing me clairvoyantly. You also have the Six of Voices. 7, 6 feels like a countdown. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Something is coming, and it's maybe the fact that you're getting to the end of this sort of road and there's a crossroads there. You kind of need to choose. Are you going to stay in the old gray world? Or are you going to move into Technicolor? Are you going to follow your dreams? Are you going to trust spirit? Are you going to trust yourself? More importantly, the crown is you being in your power. And your power is to be in a life that feels good to you. That's what we're meant to do here, Group 1. All of us. We're not meant to be slaves. We're not meant to toil and suffer. There's a certain level of work that we do here, yes, but we're not meant to be in constant pain and lack. That's separation. That's not sovereignty. That's not God consciousness. We're meant to be free. And the Six of Swords is going to help you do that. So this is moving you in a new direction. I keep seeing that. You're getting a new direction here. And I don't think it's going to be vastly different than what you're doing now. I just see it some tweaks. Some adjustments, doing things in a slightly different way, but that's going to give you such a massively different result. It's going to feel black and white, but, like not black and white. It's going to feel like you've gone from black to white, or from black and white to color. It's going to feel like that, but I don't think you're changing anything major. What are you changing? The High Priestess. Using your intuition, following your dreams, they said again in my head. They just keep saying that, Group number 1. Following your dreams and your intuition, your soul is pointing the way. So you got to ask yourself, where am I denying this call? Where am I not listening to that little inner voice that's telling me, go this way, go this way? Or where are you hearing it but then not taking action on it? Maybe because you fear something's not for you, or you fear that you're not going to be successful at it, or you fear that it's going to fail. But I see here that it's the whole point of this sort of phase of your journey, group 1, is so that you trust. You lean in, they just said. Lean in, group 1. Lean in. Feel the wind at your back. It's kind of pushing you in the right direction. And if you feel like that wind has been just keeping you in this sort of loop, the tornado. They keep showing me tornadoes and black and white, so I'm getting like Wizard of Oz vibes. Like Dorothy getting scooped up by the twister and then she's plopped into Oz and everything goes from black and white to Technicolor. You got to follow your dreams. I feel like your dreams are that yellow brick road and it's calling you forward. There's something there. I don't know. It's interesting. 8 of emotions. This is about the journey. They've mentioned this so many times. You've got several cards talking about that. The eight of cups, which is the 8 of emotions, is talking about that too. This is about the journey. You're meant to follow what feels good, what feels fulfilling, to do things that are satisfying to your soul, is what I just heard. Satisfying to your soul. This may feel like a bit of a risk, group number 1. I'm getting that. Like it may feel like a bit of a risk, but spirit and your intuition, and specifically they're telling me your higher self. Your higher self knows the way. And so if you can just kind of tune in and lean back, or lean in this case, like lean into that, but like lean back in the sense that you're relaxed about it. Let your higher self give you this information, because your higher self they're showing me that they're trying to. But it's almost like there's a little bit of resistance. The emotions are important here. Feeling is important here. If you're a process person like me, group 1, then feeling and how you feel is so crucial. So like I need to check in with myself multiple times a day. Does this feel good for me? And if the answer is no, then I need to change how I'm doing it. Because if I keep doing it in a way that doesn't feel good, it puts me further and further back. Energetically and spiritually, it just moves me away from my goal. And it could be like the most little things, like in my daily life. If I don't treat myself, if I go into extreme lack and I'm like, I can only afford oatmeal, and that's all I can eat, because that's all I can. It's like Spirit has taught me to almost like not forego the details of the physical world. Like there's some level of practicality and forward planning and stuff like that that's important, but they've taught me like the little things that really count to manifesting are when I embody that energy. So like taking myself out and getting some like a sweet dessert to eat. It might seem like a really small mundane thing and like it's not going to make a huge difference, but energetically to a process person it does, because like if I want to feel abundant to be able to do that, then I need to actually do that. It's like taking action on things that are going to feel enlivening, revitalizing, enjoyable. Things that are going to fill your emotional cup. That's the direction you want to go in. So if you have this fork in the road before you and you have 2 options, which is the one that feels the most fulfilling? Which is the one that excites you? Which is the one that kind of gives you the warm tinglies? That's your intuition being like, go this way. Go this way. Otherwise, you're going to keep cycling round and round in that sort of gray area. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll find your way out eventually. It's just a matter of time. And this whole process takes time. But I'm seeing you being given an option here, an opportunity to kind of jump yourself out of that gray, mundane sort of life and move away from the things that are not for you and move toward the things that are for you. The Moon card, they're talking a lot about the emotions here. They're talking a lot about your psychic abilities and your intuition, group number 1. So I think that being between the worlds is going to help you do this. Like follow your intuition. Get into a meditative, they just said hypnagogic. Am I saying that right, Spirit? Yeah, hypnagogic state. I think that means like in between sleep and wake. Ooh, yeah. And they're giving me the words prayer, and no, they're correcting me. Sacrament. Thank you, Spirit. Sacrament. Something about sacrament in between sleep and wake. Maybe you're going to get some downloads right there when you're half asleep, half awake, group number 1, that are going to help you to determine what you truly desire. They're talking a lot about dreams here, so this could literally be in your dreams that you're getting downloads of information, psychic downloads of information. That's what they just said. That are helping you to break free from the karmic cycle and find your path, your dharmic path. They just said dharmic path. Whoa, yes. So this is getting out of the karmic loop and getting onto your dharmic path, which is all about sovereignty. Okay, this is making sense now. Whoa. All right, I'm feeling called to these cards, the astrology cards. What does group number 1 need to focus on for this? North Node, that is your dharmic path, group 1. That is what it is. It's destined for you. You're destined to have this. This is part of the journey. Okay, like this is all, it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. They said move forward. Okay, have you been hesitating on taking action on something, group 1? Have you been hesitating? Because that's the energy they just kind of slammed into my face. It's like, oh, I don't know. Like you have this idea and you had this inspiration or this, they just gave me a word, but I lost it. Like you felt called to something, or you had this dream or this idea or this vision, and then there was something maybe physically that was holding you back from doing that, or you felt like it wasn't the right time, or maybe that thing just wasn't for you. And then you hesitated, and then you stopped, and then you kind of got stuck in a loop. That's what they're showing me. So they're telling you, like, this is the time to take action in a new direction. This is the time, because you're destined to have this, and getting on that path is going to help you to become who you're meant to be. It's not even what you're meant to get to, because process people, we're not really about the goal. Like, we need to focus on who we're becoming and what we're doing through the journey. Like, it's not about going to the destination. That's fine. That's just like a byproduct. It's the experience of the journey that is so crucial to process people manifesting actually what they do end up wanting in terms of the goal or the destination. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. And I almost said Scorpio, even though that's not a fire sign, but if I had to say, I would say Scorpio is like the fieriest of the water signs. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, they are the fieriest of the water signs. So maybe there's some Scorpios here in this reading. And you're being called to take action, which is yang energy, fire energy, passion, moving forward, confidence, taking big steps is what they're showing you. Big steps forward, planning for the future, strategizing, but making it fun. Making it fun. First house, individuality, self-image, and approach to life. This is you doing some big self-development work, group 1. Because the first house is yourself. It's literally you. And that's why I think we were seeing that mirror energy from the 7 of Swords there. It's like you seeing yourself differently or changing how you view yourself. I think this is part of the journey, and this is why it's destined, is because it's not just about what you're doing. It's about, like I said, who you're becoming in the process. And I think your vision of who you are is going to change and adapt, or it's meant to. It's definitely meant to. Because I think the way you were seeing yourself before, it was not for you. I think you may have been playing small, group number 1. They're showing me a pawn and then a queen. A pawn. So, and the queen is like the most powerful, what are those called? Piece. The queens are the most powerful pieces on the chess deck, or on the chess, whatever, because they can move in all directions. And the pawns can only do like one, they can only go forward, 1 or 2, right? So unless they're checking, or unless they're taking, anyway, it doesn't matter. This isn't about chess. Chess lesson. No, this is you guys being able to see beyond what I think you perceived yourself to be. And that's what squashes all of these mental limitations that were creating this idea of who you were not, or what you could not be. Even though your dreams were calling you in this direction, maybe there was like, no, I can't be that because that's not who I am. Or no, I can't do that because that's not who I am. Well, change who you are. I mean, it's easier said than done, but this is what they're saying. They're like, the journey is for you to change who you are and become who you're meant to be by doing what you're called to do. Fixed sign energy, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. I knew Scorpio was going to come up. And Aquarius. Stability, persistence, loyalty, and dependability. They're saying stay true to your goal. Okay, so they want you to have a goal. They want you to move towards it. They want you to stay dedicated to it, not give up, but make sure that you're enjoying the process. They're being very clear about that. Oh, that is so cool. You have the yin energy and the yang energy. So this is the duality. This is the polarity. These are like the counterparts within the self. And you do need both. You need both. You need yang energy when you need to take action and choose a direction and do it. And you need yin energy when you need to receive and get these downloads and feel emotionally into things and enjoy the process of creating. So it's like both. You need both. You need to be both. And look, intuition. Was I not saying intuition was important? Here it is. Intuition, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity. This is crucial, group one. They really, the High Priestess, the Moon card, the Queen of Cups, between the worlds, like you are meant to be a receiver for this divine information that they're bringing through. And it's going to help you. I do feel this card. Earth. The roses, the rose garden. Yeah, persistence, patience, and practicality. They're talking a lot about persistence. Did they not say that here? Yeah, that's twice you have the word persistence. So I don't think that this is giving up on what you're doing. I think it's doing it in a different way, like with a different energetic approach, just feeling different while you're doing something or changing how you're doing something, because you're going to get better results. And you have the 11th house, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. Maybe doing this at a large scale, but doing it sustainably. You have Gemini on the bottom of the deck, curiosity, intellect, and networking. So maybe communication's important here. I want to get some charms, I think. We're going to really go in today. This is going to be, these are long readings, but it's okay. All right, look. The moon and the key. The moon, and I was seeing keys earlier. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it was in one of these cards underneath. There was a key. Anyway, the key is your intuition. The key is your feeling body. The key is the process of how you feel while you're doing these things. That yin energy that helps to feed the yang, because it's through the receiving, it's through the intuition, it's through the emotional processing that you're able to find a direction and then do it. So I want to put that there, and I want to put that there. You've got the pink butterfly. So this is taking action in this transformative process, becoming the version of you. They keep saying that. Becoming the version of you that this dream is fulfilled by. Like, if you don't see yourself doing this, it's because you're meant to become the version of you that does this. Okay, interesting. You have 2 hearts here. Love may be important. You got the love charm with like the Cupid's arrow through it, and then you've got the white heart. Loving what you do, they said. Loving what you do. Ah, yeah, the 11th house can talk about your goals and your dreams. Yes, they want you to love what you do. They keep saying that. So if you're hating what you do, something needs to change, because that's just not for you. You have the music note as well. The frequency of your soul is important here. Singing your true soul song, they said as well. I have a soul song activation on my website if you guys are interested. It's meant to help you to embrace your authenticity, and it's like a subliminal messaging thing too, so you can feel more confident to express yourself and follow your dreams. And I'm getting like artistic energy here from you guys. Is somebody here a singer? I did just feel that as well, but I was also getting earlier like creating something beautiful. So it doesn't have to be music, it could be anything, but creating something beautiful. I think that if that's part of your passion, if that's part of your dream, Spirit again is encouraging you to follow that. And you have the koi windsock. Okay, so this talks about like graduating from something and changing into the next version of you. So they're really talking a lot about your personal transformation here. You're meant to see yourself differently is what they said. Seeing yourself differently is going to change how you move. It changes what you do. If you see yourself as a peasant tilling the fields, then you will never let yourself outgrow that. But if you see yourself as a luxurious gardener of the most expensive roses in the land, then that is what you will be. So you have to believe it and you have to receive it, and then you need to do it, and then you will perceive it in your reality. Yeah, it's not impossible. It's just maybe something you haven't tried yet. So listen to this intuitive nudge or hit that you're going to get, okay? And you're going to get it. They're telling me that. They're going to give it to you, and they're going to give it to you again and again until you receive it. So don't worry about missing the sign or the symbol or the intuitive knowing. They're going to keep giving it to you until you put it together. So don't worry. You can't mess this up. So just tune into how you feel. The clearer you become, and the more passionate and embracing that you become, the easier this is going to get, and the more successful you will be. Because you're destined to have it. All right, guys. So that's really what I want to say to you. Follow your dreams. Group 1, follow your dreams. That was very clear here. That is the particular of this situation, okay? Follow your dreams. I'm sending you guys so much love and courage and energetic and emotional support to be able to do this and become the version of you that is meant to live this dream. I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful for you being here. Thank you for allowing me to do these readings for you and for supporting my work in the various ways that you do. You know, liking the video is just a simple way to do that. Commenting down below, letting me know how this resonates. I love reading your comments. Sharing the video with a friend who might need to hear this as well. Ask them which one they chose, which one you chose. Compare notes. Super thanks are always appreciated with gratitude and expanded out into more money for all, more abundance for all. Thank you for sending in decks as well. A lot of these decks were sent in to us from donors, so thank you. And any other way, any other just like positive vibes that you want to share, I appreciate it all. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. All right, hi group 2. Welcome to your reading. You guys chose the 4 seasons in the one picture. So I was really interested in this image. It's one that I've kind of seen before, and that was what kind of sprung to mind when Spirit gave me the prompt. So it was really cool when the AI just generated this particular image. So it's like different slices, different seasons, but one scene, one tree. So I think this is representing you being in different seasons of your life and how transitioning between those seasons is going to be important. So we're going to talk about the particulars of that and what Spirit wants you to know in a very detailed way to help you move through these seasons, maybe more efficiently or easily or with more grace. That's kind of what I'm feeling, is like more grace. Okay, so I also want to mention that your group number 2, was referenced in group 1. Whoa, okay, you have the orphaned card. Interesting. Have you been feeling stuck in a particular season of your life, group number 2? Have you been feeling stuck in a particular season of your life where maybe you felt left out in the cold? I'm getting like 5 of Pentacles type energy with that orphaned card, and they're showing me it's almost like instead of having the 4 seasons of the tree, it's just winter all the time. And that's not natural. Right? Like nature moves in cycles. And if you're stuck in one thing, then you're not in the natural flow. Oh, I love this. You've got Treasure Island. Treasure Island, and the 9 really stood out to me. So I think you're going to be closing a cycle. You're going to be moving into the next phase. So you're coming out of winter and going into spring. Finally. I just heard in my head, finally. So I feel like you've been stuck in winter for a while, group number 2. Like a long time. Because turtles they live for hundreds of years sometimes, you know? So I feel like you've been waiting, or you've been stuck maybe, or just kind of like biding your time almost. Clean it up. There is something here that needs to be healed, is what I'm feeling. And I saw 222 on the recording time, and earlier I saw 144, but I was kind of mid-sentence while I was talking about it. And 234. Okay, you're getting a lot of codes. So 144 is like you're healing something in the fundamental soul blueprint, and possibly even in the DNA. 222 is you're building something, you're moving forward, you're balancing something out. And then 234 is you're taking the steps to make this progress happen in the physical reality. So I see this Treasure Island being a good portent. It's a good sign, a good omen that things are changing. They're about to change, and we're going to get you some details on how to do that. Peace. Peace is important here. Inner peace. Having peace and clarity of mind, they just said. Peace and clarity of mind. So if there's thoughts that need to be removed, clean it up. If you've been stuck in this orphaned energy, this is being aware of how that's been holding you back, like feeling separated, feeling alone. The wound around that needs to be healed, and that's what's going to unlock this treasure. Loyal heart. I feel love in this reading, group number 2. I don't know where it's coming from, but even just, I forgot to mention it when I was talking about your significator image that you chose, but for whatever reason, I'm getting the energy of love. So maybe you feel like you're past your prime, or you're stuck in the winter of your life and it's not time for love anymore, or something like that. Or maybe you've just had like a drought in that regard, feeling left alone, abandoned, forgotten, isolated, separated. They're saying get ready. It's like spring cleaning. Energetically, they're helping you to clear out your energy field, because it feels like there's love coming in. And we've had a lot of love messages coming up in not just the love readings I've been doing, but in the general readings. So I think this is a collective thing, or there's like a group of souls who are drawn to my channel that Spirit is directly communicating to in regard to this new love that's coming in, or a new wave of love, or a new way of experiencing love, and especially how this helps to heal the orphan wound. And there's like loyalty within this relationship that is helping to create inner peace. 444 I just saw as well. Yeah, this is very much in alignment, group 2, very much in alignment. And you're getting back into the flow is what they're showing me, back into the flow. I actually feel those two. I wasn't going to get more, but I feel those two. We have more decks to get to, so new life. Look at you waking up. Look at you stretching and coming out of your shell. It's time, group number 2. It's time. You're getting activated here. This reading is going to be activating for you, okay? It's going to help you to clean some things up. It's going to help you to purge and release some of this pain of separation. And this goes deep, they said. It goes deep into the soul blueprint. That's why they were showing us 144. So this is energy that goes back lifetimes, millenniums, they said. Whoa. Yeah, this is very old stuff that we're talking about here. But as you clear this out, you are connecting more with yourself internally, or you're going to feel that more in a tangible way. This is going to create more inner peace. They just keep giving me this energy of inner peace. And this is what opens up the treasure. This is what gives you this new blossoming of a brand new life. It's the new season. I keep getting going from winter to spring. Very clearly, winter to spring. Imagine the possibilities here, group number 2. I think imagining the possibilities, for some reason, helps to unlock this treasure. I'm getting like this energy of you in the past being confused about what you wanted, group 2. Is that a thing? Have you felt confused about what you wanted? I'm just getting a subtle vibe of that. It's not like super strong or in my face. It's just like kind of like a background noise of, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's what I want. I'm not sure if that's possible for me. I'm not sure if that's an option. Something like that. Attitude is everything. So they want you to have a new attitude or approach to life here, a new approach to this situation, because the particulars of this are that it, like, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. They keep talking about cleaning up your thoughts. So if you have negative thoughts, self-sabotaging thoughts, limiting thoughts, different limiting self-beliefs, these are things that need to go, and they're getting systematically deprogrammed so that you can really follow your truth here and achieve this state of peace. They keep talking about that. Keep moving forward. Go. It's time. Lace up your shoes and get moving, group number 2, because winter's ending. Winter's ending and it's time to move forward. You must be present to win. I'm seeing energy of like moving somewhere or doing something differently. It's like getting out there almost. So if this is to do with love, the winter of your life may have found you very sort of isolated and alone, maybe just like holed up in your house, you know? This is talking about getting out there, getting back out into the world. They keep saying lace up your shoes. So I think that means like get ready to go, get ready to run, get ready to not run in a bad way, but like run towards what you want or to put yourself out there and get active in some way. Own your dreams. Yeah, this did come up in group 1, and I did mention that there was a slight correlation between these two groups, so there may be something that resonates for you there as well. Or people from 1 may have come to 2. Like I was saying there, that keeps happening. 1 and 2 seem to be like these sister readings in a lot of the most recent readings that we've done here. So this is the key here that I was referring to in that group. But anyway, you're meant to own your dreams. Like, don't just have them, own them. Own them. And the more present you are with that, the more loyal you are with that, I see you really like just blossoming, blooming. I keep feeling like this energy of getting outside your comfort zone. Be in love with your life. Yeah, that did come up in their reading as well. So being free to explore and expand, embrace beautiful chaos. Now we're just getting the same ones. I did shuffle. But sometimes they just want to keep coming out. Great things take time. Yeah, there's definitely a correlation between group 1 and 2. Like I said, that keeps happening recently. Live, create, tell your story. Okay, let's get some more cards. Group 1, I feel like a lot of new potential awakening. That's that new life energy. It's like you're coming out of the shell, you're waking up. And I think that the awakening here, like a big part of it, is going to be you feeling ready to do something new, something that you've wanted to do for a long time, but maybe you felt it wasn't possible for you before. Yeah, they're showing me the fortune cookie in this card, and group number 1 had a fortune cookie in their reading too, in a completely different card. Or group number, did I say 1? Anyway, I'm mixing them up now. But there's something here about you being able to connect to your future and to have something become clear that was not clear. It's like you're going to see it for what it is. Queen of Inspiration. It's something to do with your dream. The dream for your life will become clear, is what they said. So maybe you've been confused about what your dream even was. Like, I know some people have a very clear idea of what they want and who they want to be, and then they just like move towards that full steam ahead. And then there's other people who are more indirect in the pathway to get there. It's kind of like, I don't know what I want or who I want to be. Maybe, you know, it's not clear, or I'm good at a lot of different things, or I feel like I'm not good at anything. But either way, it's like I don't know which direction to go because I'm not sure what I want or what's going to make me happy. And speaking from experience, being part of that latter group, I have found that being a late bloomer, in a sense, is actually a blessing in disguise, because you get to explore a whole bunch of different avenues to kind of test and see what works for you. And like going through these different seasons of life and different experiences has really helped to kind of make me a more well-rounded person, and all of the skills that I have from various different things all kind of converge into one, and then allow me to walk a path that's a little bit more diverse. It's not it's not such a straight shot towards a particular goal or dream. It's kind of like I let the dream unfold as I become who I'm meant to be. And we were talking a little bit about becoming who you're meant to be in group number 1. Well, we were talking a lot about that in group 1. But I'm just getting a sense here, group 2, that this clarity of your dream is going to become very clear, and they want to talk about the details of this because there may have been confusion about this in the past or even right now. The Fool. They said pursue the dream. Follow the path that is opening up for you now. Take a leap of faith and trust yourself. Okay. I feel like you're getting to a new level, group 2, and this is like a whole new, the ladder can represent ascension, and you have the awakening card, so I do feel like this is an ascended level consciousness, and this new dream that's coming in is going to be something that you're going to love. It's going to bring a lot of peace into your life. There could be love involved in this, romantic love, and they're kind of like saying, okay, go this direction because it's going to feel good to do that. Temperance. And the Empress. Powerful cards. Creative pursuit. I was getting that from Queen of Wands, following your dreams. Creative pursuit. Maybe you feel like you're too old, or it's too late to do something, or something like that. I just keep kind of getting that vibe of like, I don't have the support that I need, or I'm past my prime or something like that. It's like, no, group number 2. If you're called to do something, you're called to do something. There's no time limit on it. You can find love in your 80s. You can find success as an artist in your teens or in your 60s. It doesn't matter. Time is an illusion, and the societal constructs of time are made up. So don't bother with that. You can have a new life at any age or any stage of the game. 8 of Cups. Follow your truth is what I heard in my head from them. So Spirit wants you to follow your truth towards this new life. So what is that? Group 2, what is your truth? What feels true for you, and does that serve you? I think that's a good question to ask right now. What feels true for you, and does that serve you to believe that? Because there are multiple opposing truths, and 2 things can be true at once. So you can be scared of the blank page and feel like it's too late and you don't know what to fill that with, or you don't feel like you're ready to do that or good enough to do that. But the other side of that truth is that blank page is going to keep staring you in the face until you put pen to paper, or until you do something and create something out of that. So I get this feeling that like the world is your oyster right now. You have all of these opportunities that are available to you energetically, and they're going to unlock a lot of good things for you. But you need to kind of clear out your mindset around what you thought was possible or not possible for you, and to completely overhaul that so that you can start taking more inspired action towards what you feel called to do in any given moment, no matter what your circumstances are. 2 of Inspiration. Okay, they said plot your course, and then they're showing me now a treasure map with X marks the spot on the treasure. X marks the spot, plot your course. What are they talking about here? Navigation, they said navigation, Ace of Inspiration. that's inspired action. I was just talking about that. Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands. Inspired action is going to be important here to this situation. 5 of Wands, 5 of inspiration as well. I feel this card too. 9 of Pentacles. I do love to see that. And the 2 of Cups. I knew romance was important here. So there's kind of multiple things that I'm seeing in your reading group number 2. Multiple things. Oh, Ace of Materials on the bottom as well. This is a new beginning, new life, new beginning. You got 2 aces. You've got the new life card. Very clear that this is a new start for you. And they keep saying no matter what your age is, they keep driving that message home. So I feel like somebody in this group, or maybe many of you in this group, have felt at some point, or maybe right now, that you're like, I keep getting this phrase, past your prime. That's not like, there's no, no, that's not true. You're not. I know I've felt that sometimes. I'm 35 and I'm like, I should be further ahead, and life and spirit stops me and they check me before I wreck me. Every time I think that, they're like, no, you're a divine soul. This is your journey. This is what it looks like. You're exactly where you need to be in divine order and timing. Your life is not comparable to anyone else's life because they're not you. And all of the different layers of you that have built up to make you the you that you are right now at the point in your journey that you're at is exactly perfect. It's divine. Don't change that. Just work with it. Flow with it. So this is what they're saying. And they're talking a lot about love and your goals and dreams, how you see yourself, loving your life, embracing the process, really enjoying your time. They said enjoy your time here, and it felt like a reference to Earth. So maybe some of you at soul level are feeling like Earth is a drag and being human is hard and you just want to get out of here. But this isn't the end, group number 2. You're not done yet. You're just beginning. You got the new life card. You got Treasure Island. Like, don't go now. Don't give up now. It's just about to get good. It's just about to get good. You don't want to miss out on the party. This is a party for you. Opposition, imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. I feel like that has been what's been creating this drag. It's not even the Earth itself. It's like this programming, because that's what the orphan template is. In the soul blueprint, the orphan template is a program of separation. It's a wound of separation, and it keeps you stuck in this feedback loop of self-negative perception. And by extension, feeling separate from other people in the world around you, not feeling supported, not feeling loved. And that's a very deep and very hard wound. And I know, because I've had it, I'm still working on healing it. And I just want to say real quick, kind of like just a little aside in this reading, I want to say thank you, you guys, for being here, because part of me working through my orphan wound at soul level is being here and doing this work on the channel with you guys and having a supportive group of souls that I can honestly call my family. And I just want to say thank you. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Because it makes me feel really abundant to do this work. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, back to your reading. Thank you. So, to get out of this imbalance, group number 2, I see you seeing beyond the struggle. And instead of fighting against yourself to make this dream happen, or against the reality that you perceive yourself to be stuck in, or the circumstances that you feel are limiting to you, instead of fighting against those, I see you coming into this inner peace, this inner harmony, inner union within the self, and it dissolves the opposition energy. It dissolves the distortion of separation, and you're coming back into unity where anything is possible, where all things are connected, where everything is in divine order, and where you are supported infinitely by the universe, by your spirit team, by the people in your life that are attracted to you as real physical earth angels to help you on your way. And you will see reflected back to you the infinite support that you truly have. And that there is no time limit on this. You can take all the time you need because you're an infinite soul. You don't really truly ever die. You just transition. South Node, destined to release. This is important, and that's why they were talking about cleaning it up. And this is old wounds from the past in the soul blueprint. I was getting that. I was seeing it clairvoyantly. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it. You know, I've done many an Akashic reading in my day, and I've seen this thing time and time again in client sessions and even in myself. And so this is you healing by releasing the past, letting go of the old templates, no longer dragging those around with you. They don't need to be there anymore. And all they were doing was holding you back. So forget about them. Forget about it. Easier said than done, right? But it can be done. Third house, early learning, childhood relations, the rational mind, and communication. The orphan imprint starts early. You know, most of the time. It's something that we experience either emotionally or physically or both in childhood. And it can be because our parents weren't able to show up for us in the way that we needed them to, or it can be because we physically did not have parents around, like the literal orphan imprint. Or it can be because we felt disconnected from a peer group or a support system or an emotional connection to our caregivers, like I was saying. So there's so many different ways that this can happen, but it's usually early childhood. So look to your inner child. Look to your past self from this lifetime, previous lifetimes, because that's where you're going to find that wound, that hurt, and that's also where you're going to heal it. And I do see someone else helping you do this. I feel a partner. Maybe you're with this person right now and they help you to heal this wound. Maybe this is someone you're attracting in, and no, it's not too late. This person is going to be a counterpart to you to help to show you where these wounds are and help you to heal them. So they're not going to mirror it back to you in a harsh way where it becomes a tension, power struggle type thing. Maybe that was the situation in the past. What I'm seeing now is that this partner actually reflects back to you what you need to see so that you can do the healing work. And it becomes more, I'm getting this energy of gracefulness again. So it becomes much more graceful in the process of doing this healing. It doesn't feel quite so hard or laborious or detrimental or heavy. It's not going to be such a burden anymore. You're really going to feel lighter is what I'm getting energetically. You're going to feel so much lighter, group number 2. A challenging situation, a mountain to climb with the square. You've got opposition and square. So I think this has been a real challenge for you. It has. I see that. I acknowledge that. It has been a real challenge for you to get out of this, to go through the awakening, to step out of that power struggle within the self or within your environment. But you're balancing it out. I see you doing this, group number. Actually, I do feel this one on top, group 2. 8th house. You're doing a lot of deep psychological healing, transformation, karma, facing fears and legacies. The 8th house is like the deep psychological wounds. Like, man, every time that I have transits going through my 8th house, it's like deep, deep psychological healing. And you have intensity with Scorpio on the bottom, intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. That's what you're doing. You're purging, you're cleansing. You're being called to clean it up right now because it's going to help you. I put this, can it fit there? No. It's going to help you. It doesn't feel always good, right? Like it's kind of, sometimes it's uncomfortable. There can be these inner oppositions, these inner walls that are kind of protective barriers that try to keep us away from the wounds. And that's normal. Those are survival mechanisms. Those are walls that we put up as safeguards. But if insofar that they prevent you from embracing your true authentic self and seeing the light of your being, then those walls need to come down. because they may have protected you at one point, but now they're blocking you. So doing it safely, gently, with grace. They keep giving me the energy of grace, peace, grace, ease, flow, release, purge, let it out. Okay, I'm going to give you guys an activation, all right? 12th house before we get into the activation. Spirituality, transcendence, karma again, karma, south node, karma from the past, sacrificial service and healing. Okay, so this is very deep psychological stuff we're talking about here, group number 2, and that's why this has been challenging. Because maybe you haven't seen it, or you haven't felt optimistic about this, or you haven't felt like there was things that were possible for you. That's why I'm here to help. So what we're going to do right now is give you an activation to help release and purge some of this psychological stuff within the soul blueprint, and the emotional pain body is what they're showing me. If you consent to receive this activation and healing, you can simply say yes out loud or in your head, okay? Or like the video, or whatever you feel called to do, as sort of like a little nod to the universe saying that you receive this energy. So I'm bringing this to you with highest blessing and divine grace for your greatest and highest good only, okay? It's going to be gentle, so it's not going to be a super intense release, but it may bring up some things, okay? But we're going to do this real nice and easy. And I'm just going to start bringing through the energy, okay? So this is universal life force energy, also known as Reiki. Bringing that through to you now. Deep breath. Allowing yourself to heal and acknowledge the past. Acknowledge where you came from, but don't hold on to it. You're ready to let it go. You've learned those lessons. You've been through those hard things, and those things do not need to carry forward into the future. You are destined for a shift, a new life, a new process, a new goal. Let this new dream be your guide. Let the energy that is released move out of your body a little bit at a time so that it feels nice and comfortable for you. Allow yourself to move with grace through your life, embracing every moment as a new opportunity for growth, and understanding that you are never truly done growing. And this is a beautiful thing. This is a gift from the Creator, from your Creator, who loves you and seeks for you to feel safe, warm, and supported as you move through your journey. Okay, good. So I'm just sweeping away any residue that was brought up through that light activation. So we bring in the light, and then the light is high vibrational, and it starts to kind of shake up all the dirt and debris that are in the corners of the mind and the soul and the Akashic blueprint. And then we just start moving those out, shaking the spiders loose, bringing out some of those skeletons from the closet and going, okay, we don't really need that anymore. We don't really need that anymore. We can get rid of that. It's time to get rid of that. It's okay to let that go. It's safe to let that go. I'm hearing the word crease, and I'm not sure how that relates, but they're giving me the word crease. Maybe this is a synchronicity, or it means something to you. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just we're smoothing out the creases. Yeah, smoothing things out perhaps. No, I don't know. That doesn't feel quite intuitively right. There's something about crease. They're giving me that, but I don't know what it means. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do a little bit of some additional healing work here. I'm sprinkling you with some very light, high vibrational joy energy. This is the treasure. It's going to open up the treasure chest. It's going to show you the way. So I'm just kind of like sprinkling you with sparkles. Like that salt guy sprinkling that steak with salt, but instead it's like magic pixie dust. Making your life more magical, more joyful, more fun. Healing the wound of the inner child, of the orphan, and bringing out the magical child. the inner child that is free to explore and play no matter your age. From 0 to 100 and beyond. You're a child at heart, group number 2. You'll always be a child on the inside. You'll always be a child of God, and you are loved. All right. So that was the healing. Now I do feel called to get some charms. How are you guys feeling? How did that come through? What came up for you? Did anything come up, or did you just kind of just take a minute to absorb it? You know, sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes it takes a minute to sink in and to feel it. Maybe it'll take even some time for it to unfold, but let me know how you feel. All right, let's get some charms. Group 2. Wow. You have the 3-headed dragon. And as I'm holding it up to the camera, it went 3333 on the recording time. Threes are important. This is the Trinity. Mind, body, soul. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit. The triangle, the pyramid could be significant. Something about the three parts of the soul is what they're showing me. 3 parts of the soul? Yeah, something about the Trinity. Oh, you have the white rabbit. This is a signifier for me personally around breaking free from the matrix. You know, it's like Alice following the white rabbit and getting out of the physical reality, going into the dream realm or into Wonderland. This is also a sign that we saw in the Matrix when Neo follows the white rabbit and he exits the Matrix. The Matrix was the orphan symptom, is what they just told me. Symptom, wow. And going into the 12th house it's like the subconscious mind, the non-physical, the spirit realm. Yeah, 3444. Wow. Yeah. Life after death. It's like the beyond, being able to be between the worlds. And we were talking a lot about psychicness and intuition in group 1. So I can see how these again correlate. You have the conch shell. So this is talking about answering the call. And I want to put it on Scorpio, which it feels significant, you know, like shells come from water. Scorpio is a water sign. So it's like answering the call of your emotions, feeling into this and being able to move beyond it. I'm seeing transcendence being important, transcending. Heart healing is going to be very transcendent for you, group number 2. It's going to help you to move out of the old patterns where you were seeing yourself in a distorted way because of those wounds, because of those old templates. You've got another little shell here. That's so cute. Look. So there's a lot of ocean energy that could be significant here. I want to put this on the 2 of Cups. I feel like you're going to open up, like you were clammed shell shut, and you're going to start opening up again. This could be opening to love, opening to more peace in your life, opening to more healing through loving yourself. Multiple different things that I'm seeing here. I'm also seeing opening up to deeper layers of knowing the truth of the universe is what Spirit said. Okay. Yeah, this is a major awakening, and they showed me this little galactic, you know, it's like you're going to be opening up to different layers of the mind in a very psychedelic type of way is what they're showing me. It doesn't have to be through psychedelics. It can be through meditation. It can be through doing healing work, but it's very spiritual. It's very spiritual. You have the lotus. So you're going to be opening up to new states of consciousness and removing the old burdens that were keeping you stuck in these challenges. Yeah, you're meant to release these things from the past because your soul has learned from them and you're ready to move on now. So you're going to level up into this new life, and you don't have to physically die to have a new life. You can do that, you know, this metaphorical death transformation process in the physical reality, where one day you're one person and the next day you wake up and it's like a whole new world, a new version of you. It's still you, but you get to be the more authentic version of you, the more godly version of you. It's like it's a different state of consciousness, which creates a different reality. Yeah. So this challenging situation, group number 2, it's closing out. All right. It's closing out. This is confirmation. This is what they wanted to talk about today. These are the particulars of the situation that you've been stuck in, this environment or pattern that kept you feeling separate and stuck. And they're saying you're going to plan a way forward now by identifying some of these things within the emotional body, within the soul blueprint that are ready to be released. They said Akash. Yes, they're ready to be released from your Akash. You're going to balance these things out and you're going to start moving forward. And you're going to see a new life open up for you. A very, very destined, very divinely designed new life. That's the phrase they just gave me. Divinely designed new life. And it's going to be through your participation in that. Okay. So it's a bit of a passive process in the sense that you do this reception of the healing, but it's also intentional in the steps you take, trusting what you're feeling, trusting what's coming through, trusting the synchronicities, and trusting other people too. So open up your heart to love, group number 2, in all its forms. Because love is truly the grace of God. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the reading today. I'm sending you so much love and healing blessings to work through these patterns, to release these things, and to truly, truly expand and awaken into your highest expression of self. That's why I'm here doing this work on the channel. That's why Spirit called me here to do this work. And I thank you for helping me to do it, because it wouldn't be work worth doing if I wasn't sharing it with you. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel in the various ways that you do. If you want to go deeper, we do have memberships available as well, where we do monthly member live streams where members can ask personal questions and get messages, healing, answers from Spirit, or guidance from me, and weekly videos as well, where we go deeper into the more ascension, esoteric topics. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group 3, welcome to your reading. You guys chose the image of the painter. So the prompt that Spirit had me channel for this image was details of a painter creating a work of art. So it was like the detail work of the creation that this artist is doing, is making. So I feel like the particulars that Spirit wants to talk about today are going to be something to do with your creative expression, and the detail work on how to refine that or hone that or create something that is very much full. It feels more done almost, is the flavor I'm getting. Like you've kind of painted the base and you've done the scene, and now you're kind of adding all the little details. It's like the finishing touches, and paying attention to the details makes everything come together in a way that feels full. It feels done. That's the feeling I'm getting. So it's like this, you might be like touching something up or finishing something. So let's get some cards to find out what's going on here. I'm going to start with the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. What is this for group number 3 in regard to the details that you want to talk about, Spirit? Serendipity. Luck, blessings. I heard the word blessings. Things are just working out is what I'm feeling. Things are working out because you are creating and you're following that creative intuition and you're paying attention to the details. Yang energy. Implementation was the word that I heard. Implementing alignment. Peace. This card came up in group 2. Yeah, I feel like you're coming to the completion of something. I'm not seeing it in the cards. None of these are really talking about that, but that's what I'm feeling. Breathe. Never-ending story. I keep getting this notion that you are done with something. You're finishing it up. You're adding the final touches. And this is giving you a great sense of peace. It's like an artist finishing a work of art that they've been working on for 10 years and finally feeling like it's done. Like there may have been moments where it was frustrating because it was like, what else does it need? Is it too much? Is it too little? There's something missing. I don't know what it is. And like starting from scratch and trying again and like keep coming up against this feeling that it's not done. And I'm getting this sense that whatever you've been doing, group number 3, all of a sudden you're going to get a sense of completion. Like, okay, I've done exactly what I had set out to do. I've created this work of art and it feels ready now. It feels done. It feels full. That's the sense I'm getting. Flexible. You know, like if I put the energy aside and I just look at the cards you have here with flexible, yang, peace, and breathe, this could actually be something about your physical body. It's like being finally satisfied with your physical body being the way that it is, and not nitpicking with the details or being harsh or critical with yourself. Instead, just being like, okay, my body is what it is and I'm happy with it now. And treating it well is almost what it feels like, you know? It's like, okay, I can do a little bit of exercise that feels good for me, and I don't have to be so hypercritically involved in the process of that. I don't know. Let's get more cards. I feel this one too. All that glitters. I feel like you're seeing the details of a situation clearly. Group 3. You're seeing the details of a situation clearly. Because I don't know. It's like all of a sudden something clicks and you're just like, yeah, it's done. Like I'm done. I'm good. This is ready now. I feel like you're getting out of a situation. I gotta say, that message just came through really strongly out of nowhere. It feels like you're getting out of a situation that maybe didn't feel good. And it may have been the way that you were approaching this goal that you had, or this, you know, what you were, the painting you were creating, whatever it was. But it's like by stepping back and just being like, yeah, it's good enough, or it feels ready, it feels done. It's like you move out of that. It's like you can move on to something else. You don't have to keep nitpicking is the word that I keep getting. Nitpicking. Like you don't have to keep trying to perfect it. It's like you can just be okay with it being what it is. Blessed. I definitely feel that blessing here with serendipity and blessed. Even with all that glitters, which can sometimes talk about like all that glitters is not gold, and be aware of the masks and the falsities and like fool's gold and stuff. But I'm seeing it here in this particular reading as context for like this reward that you're getting for being able to just kind of let go and not continue to repeat this old pattern of like keeping going and getting frustrated and trying to redo it, and being a little bit too nitpicky or being a little bit too perfectionistic. It's like you're able to just be like, it is what it is, you know. I did generally what I wanted to do, and I created some of the details that look good, and I can just kind of step away now. It's like it's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can just give you, it's just having that sense of completion is enough. Building blocks. You know, there's definitely something that you're doing here, physically doing and building. I see that. And I just keep getting the sense that you're letting perfectionism go. I feel like that's the real details that I'm seeing Spirit wanting to talk about here. You're letting perfectionism go. Yeah, because that was not for you. That perfectionism was not for you. That was just blocking your blessings. So being okay with things being what they are. A change in the wind. I do feel that. I do feel like you're moving on. Like moving on from that particular painting. And you're going to do something else. And I think you're still kind of deciding on what that is. It's like, okay, I finished that painting, quote unquote, whatever that painting happens to be. And now what? Now what do I do? Where do I direct my focus? Where do I direct my action? Because I feel like you have a lot of energy, group number 3. You have a lot of like drive, a lot of passion, a lot of inspiration, a lot of spark or zest that needs to be expressed through physical conduits. Maybe it is exercise, because I was getting that before. Maybe it is art. There's so many ways that this could play out. Even like business oriented, moving towards creating wealth for yourself physically in your life, financially, building businesses, building, you know, things in your career. I see you kind of just like taking a beat, taking a moment to just stop and kind of like look at things a little more objectively and see, okay, this is where I was at, this is what I was doing. And now that I've kind of pulled back a little bit and I can see the bigger picture, I've added the details, I've done the bigger brush strokes, everything looks good enough now. Where do I go? And I see you kind of looking and surveying the landscape. I do feel like you're going to be guided. Okay, so if you don't necessarily know which direction is the right direction to go or what thing to start next, you're going to get serendipity around this. So pay attention to synchronicities, because spirit speaks to you, the universe speaks to you through symbols and synchronicities. So repeating co-occurrences of events that feel meaningful to you. And those can be anything from the most mundane things to the most extravagant miracles. So pay attention to anything and everything in between, because that's how spirit communicates and guides you through the process of your unfolding life. Oh, I love that you have the 9 of materials here, 9 of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards in the deck. And this is you feeling that satisfaction through the fulfillment of whatever this was. It's like, I did this, I created this. Now I can kind of step back and just enjoy it for a moment. Maybe you complete this work of art, you step back, you survey it, and you're like, yeah, okay, that feels good. Feels good. It's done. Now I can sell it, or I can hang it up, or I can put it out, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It was the fact that you just needed to have that sense of completion. And you're getting it. You're definitely getting it. And you know what? I feel like it is going to be all that glitters is gold in this circumstance for you, group 3. It's not fool's gold. Like, the completion of whatever this project was is going to feel satisfying, or it does feel satisfying for you. So everything that you were expecting out of it, you do end up getting that. It feels really good. And then you're like, okay, on to the next thing. Now what? Yep, on to the next thing. Now what? Ace of Wands. It's like, where's the new project? Okay, I'm picking up my paintbrush again. What am I going to paint next? That's why I feel like you're moving on from one thing and starting a new project, starting a new, going in a new direction, but it doesn't have to be vastly different than what you were doing. It's just like with the metaphor of the painter, you're done that one painting of that landscape, and now you're going to move on to doing a cityscape, or you're going to move on to doing a portrait or whatever. So it's like you're still doing the same thing, but you're just on a different project. You're doing a different creation. Queen of Emotions. I feel like they want you to meditate, group number 3. I'm feeling that pretty strongly, especially if you feel confused about where to go next, or if you feel stuck in these old creations. Maybe you don't even have to finish that quote unquote painting. Maybe you just, like, if it feels like it's frustrating you, sometimes just walking away and taking a beat. I keep getting that message of like, take a beat, take a moment. Just breathe, pause, feel, find that inner peace, because you're going to have clarity on whether you should even finish this thing in the first place. Maybe the satisfaction and closure comes from not caring anymore about that thing and going and doing something else. Maybe the satisfaction and closure comes from finalizing it and being okay with what it is and then moving on to the next thing. It's going to be different for each person, so take it as it resonates. Of course, these are general readings. You guys know that by now, but I'm just feeling like there was something that was not for you in maybe the way you were doing it, or the effect that it had, how it made you feel. You know, if it made you feel frustrated, if it made you feel stuck, if it made you feel angry. I'm getting that energy of like frustration and anger, being like, why can't this just work? Why is this like, why do I have to keep starting over? Why is this not happening? What am I doing wrong? I don't think you were doing anything wrong, group number 3. I think that this was just kind of like a test of your patience, honestly. Like, that's what I'm feeling from spirit. It was like a test of your patience. Are you going to be persistent with this? How valuable is it to you? Is it real gold? Is it worth pursuing? Is it worth overcoming the frustration to get to that sense of completion, which is the gold? Or is the goal fool's gold? And that was like testing you to see if it was really worth it. And if it wasn't, you could just walk away, leave it. Like, okay, this isn't as valuable as I thought it was, clearly, because I'm not willing to go for that gold outcome. Does that make sense? I'm trying to explain it. Ace of Emotions, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups. I feel like this is a new spiritual pursuit. I was actually going to say a new creative pursuit, but they said spiritual. A new spiritual pursuit, group number 3. I I feel like you're building something for the future. Yeah, I feel those 3 cards, and then we're gonna get, it's always more with spirit. There's always more. There's always more. I feel like you are being called in a new spiritual direction. Yeah, they're talking a lot about meditating and getting into this state of inner peace. That's where the gold lies. That's where the blessings come from. That's where the alignment and the serendipity are going to show up. They keep giving me the energy of miracles and blessings. So as you complete this thing that you were working on or that you were doing, and as you kind of sit back and just allow yourself to appreciate everything that you've accomplished, I feel like you're unlocking something. Group 3. Yeah, awakening. You're unlocking that next level of awakening. The Chariot. Pursuit of knowledge is what I just heard. Oh. So you could be pursuing the knowledge of a whole new way of creating or a whole new way of doing something in your life. Muse of inspiration. I feel like you're going to be using a different medium, and I'm not sure what that means. You're going to be using a different medium to create. So, like, say, for example, in this metaphor, you were painting. You're going to move to, like, clay sculptures or sketching with charcoal. Like, it's a change in how you're doing something, but not necessarily in what you're doing. Because in both of those, or in all of those examples, it's art. But it's just like what you're creating and what you're creating it with that's changing. 8 of Voices. 8 of Swords. And the Muse of Voices as well. Yeah, I keep getting this message of your medium changing. And if I take that literally, that could mean that you are becoming more of a medium, a conduit for the divine to communicate through. Your medium changing could literally mean that you're becoming more in tune with the divine, more clairvoyant specifically is what they just said, clairvoyant. And if this is the artist pile, which I feel that it is, group number 3, it doesn't have to be specifically painting that we're talking about. That's just the metaphor Spirit has chosen. But I do feel like this is the group that is highly artistic. And there's so many different ways to express that. But as an artist, you are a channel. You are a channel because the imagination is the conduit to the divine. So doing any form of clairvoyant work is connected to artistry. And vice versa, because it's all through the third eye. And I've worked with souls in the past, when I was doing soul realignment, Akashic readings, anytime that I would have a client who had a dominant third eye energy in their soul blueprint, it's called the gift of divine truth. Not only were they very naturally psychic and very naturally clairvoyant and able to see visions, but they were also 9 times out of 10 highly artistic. I would even go so far as to say 10 times out of 10, highly artistic. So drawing, creating, sculpting, sketching, writing, literally anything creative. Photography, digital design, crocheting, knitting. I've seen everything. And anyone who had that gift of divine truth, very psychic, very intuitive, channeler potential for that, but also just like super creative. So I feel like you're kind of tapping into a new medium, and that's why they're recommending meditating and they're recommending pausing and breathing and connecting into this intuitive psychic realm, because I think you're going to get some inspiration from there that's going to help you choose a new project specifically. And it's through this awakening that you're going to get this inspiration and this drive. You're going to get, like, the muse is the universe. The universe is your muse, and it's like it's helping you to see beyond the limitations. It's like you're going beyond the constructs of the mind. Because when you work with the divine, the constructs of the mind fall away. for the most part. Like there's still certain ego constructs that will retain some dominancy, but a lot of relaxing the mind is how we channel information. It's just letting the mind kind of run free and the divine move through it. Capricorn, ambition, realism, and methodical steps. I was getting that from the All That Glitters card. I feel like you guys are motivated by the physical results, and that's why I was getting a little bit of perfectionism. Okay, like no judgment here. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I get it. But it's like there's something here in the ambition and in that desire to see the result that was actually holding you back, because there was an attachment to how it should look rather than how it should feel. And they're showing me that here in this card, there's an hourglass and there's also one here. So there was something to do with time. Maybe this took a lot of time, and that was what was frustrating and made you feel trapped or stuck. But it's like in the process of this, you've had to like stop and breathe many times and like calm down so that you didn't abandon all hope or give up on this project. Because I do think that it was valuable. I do think that for most of you, whatever you've been working on has been something you were called to for a reason, whether it was to learn a lesson or because it was going to bless you, or both. Sixth house, this is work. Yeah, so establishing a foundation, health, daily life, and practical details. I was mentioning exercise, and the sixth house can represent our daily habits and routines when it comes to our physical body and our health. So taking action and creating healthy routines for yourself is going to be one of those conduits to a healthy lifestyle and better artistic flow and creative vision is what they're saying. The other thing with the sixth house I'm seeing there is like perfectionism. Sometimes the sixth house can be a little perfectionistic because we try to make everything very routine, very structured, very organized. But if you're an artist, yeah, there's certain structures to that, and there's like principles, and there's like an order and a method to things. But at the same time, a lot of it is very free-flowing. A lot of it is very intuitive. And that's why I think they're recommending doing a lot of that breath work and releasing, meditating, connecting to the divine, because that's going to help you to balance out some of those more practical sides of implementing this creation, creating this thing, versus being in the natural flow. Trine. Ooh, I like that. Angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. Thank you, Spirit, for confirming really, really quick what I was just saying, because I literally just used that phrase, being in the flow, and here we have perfect flow. Yeah. You're meant to flow. And if things have not been flowing, that's an indication that something needed to shift in some way. Your approach needed to shift, or how you were feeling, or, you know, the action you were taking. Again, confirmation. Life doesn't have to be perfect. Life doesn't have to be perfect. I was getting that intuitively, and here it is. Again, Spirit will always confirm. And those are the serendipities. Those are the synchronicities. And I could do these readings with no cards, you guys, because I can just feel it. I can see it. I can hear it. I can sense it. I know it. The cards are here as prompts. The cards are here as confirmation. The cards are here as guideposts. But they really don't tell the reading. Spirit does more than anything. Like, I'm the conduit. Spirit tells the reading, the message. So I'm getting this message that, like, perfectionism in some ways can help us to improve. It can help us to make sure that we're paying attention to the details, which in some small doses can be good. It can help us to order things and get things structured and, working better. But past a certain point, perfectionism is counterproductive. It prevents the flow. It stops the momentum. It creates procrastination and guilt and anxiety and shame. And it can actually thwart ambition. It can stop it dead in its tracks. And that's when they say, this is what Spirit is saying. The particulars of this situation are anytime that you find yourself going into the perfectionism of trying to get it exactly right, they want you to step back and just breathe. Because what's actually healthy here is to not need to be perfect all the time. It's okay to have things be imperfect. Good enough is good enough. Like sometimes I find myself fussing and nitpicking over my thumbnail images. I'm like, they're not good enough. People aren't going to want to click on them. People are judging a book by its cover and my cover is crap. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I literally took tests for it and they told me like, yeah, you're real 98th percentile perfectionist. And it was from wounds, shame wounds. What I'm seeing here for you, group number 3, is that sometimes it's just healthier not to care. Like with my thumbnails, I'll just be like, meh, it's good enough. The right people are going to be called to it. And if they're not, and they don't feel called to that image, then it just wasn't the reading for them. And that's okay. And it's in that letting go that I feel so free and so much better. It's like, whatever. It's liberating sometimes not to care. There's a time and place to care. There's a time and place to be a little bit more ordered, like when it comes to maintaining a healthy diet and lifestyle. Those things, yes, it's helpful to be a little bit more detail oriented. But when it comes to art and creativity, like I said, it can be very counterproductive. So I'm seeing you just kind of needing to allocate the right resources to the right things in your life. If you have a bit of that perfectionistic tendency, channel that into doing healthy things for yourself. And allow yourself to be more free-flowing in what you're creating and what you're doing artistically. Or even in your creative or not creative, in your spiritual pursuits. Because perfectionism goes right out the window when we're talking about spiritual ascension and advancement of the soul. There is no such thing as perfectionism when it comes to spiritual evolution. Because the whole point of it is to go through these trial and errors. You have to fail. You have to suck at things. You have to fall and bump and scrape your knee and things like that. It's normal. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve. It's actually the catalyst for that growth. So to not have that, to do it perfectly would be, again, counterproductive. It would impede evolution. And the same goes in this physical circumstance. We didn't get these for group 1 and 2, but I'm just feeling intuitively called right now to do some astro dice for you guys. And then we'll get charms as well. So there's something here about switching it up, because I didn't do this for group 1 and 2, but it's I just feel it, so I'm going to do it for you. It doesn't need to be exactly the same every time, cookie cutter, It's just go with the flow. Let yourself be. Oh God, we have Saturn, the taskmaster, the perfectionist, the time lord. They were showing us those hourglasses, and it's karma too, it's karma and doing the hard work and doing things over and over and over again until you get it perfect, until you get it right. There is some benefit to that, right? You master things when you do them a million times over, and you do get to the point where they become perfected. Right? You could do something a million times imperfectly, and then eventually you will do it perfectly. But again, it's not, oops, it just flipped over onto Venus. That's funny. I put it down and I kind of played with it a bit and it flipped over to Venus. And Venus is about creativity and art and fluidity and flow and beauty. So, and healing too. Yeah, healing. It's the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It's by letting yourself be imperfect in the process, you end up creating perfection as a byproduct, but it's not the perfection in the process that gets you to that. Does that make sense? You have Aries as well. an Aries person may be significant. I just randomly got that message. But I was actually going to say it's more like this creative drive and this passion that I see from you. This pursuit of higher knowledge I just heard. Didn't they say that before over here? Was that the phrase? I can't remember now. There's something about pursuit of higher knowledge and not putting strict parameters on yourself on how that needs to look. Like, you don't need to get straight A's with the universe, group number 3. And, like, just being willing to do something is good enough, you know? Just being willing to do is good. Let's get charms. Strawberry milk. Sweet. Sweet pleasures, sweet joy, the sweet things of life. I feel like this is one of the treasures that's wanting to be had or be experienced. But for some reason, I want to put it here on the 8 of Swords, 8 of Voices. Oh, they said be kinder to yourself. Because some of that perfectionism can come through in a very harsh inner critic. And part of my experience healing my perfectionism, and I'm going to share this with you because if it resonates, then hopefully it will help, was being more compassionate with myself. Literally just being like, it's okay. It's okay. I love you either way. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay. And the pressure that took off of me was significant, and it actually helped me to take action in new ways that maybe in the past I would have completely put off, because even though I felt called towards those things or I wanted to do those things, my perfectionism was stopping me. I don't think I would have a YouTube channel. I don't think I would be a psychic medium. I don't think I would do a lot of the things that I do right now if I hadn't learned compassion to check that perfectionism and stop it in its tracks. It just dissolves when compassion is the approach. What's this? Oh, unicorn. Yeah, beautiful, magical. Getting like innocent energy. They're saying miracles and magic in your routine. That's what Spirit just said. So something about your daily routine could be more magical, or maybe it is, and they're just drawing attention to that. There's something magic in your routine that you've, oh, look at this. You've got the heart with the keyhole, and then you got the key. Whoa. I feel like you're unlocking something really big right now. And the angels are supporting you because that key has the angel wings on it. The angels are supporting you big time right now. So that's why they're saying, like, breathe, communicate with Spirit. I am getting breath work. So for some of you here, you may be into breath work, or maybe they're calling you to incorporate breath work into your daily routine because it will help to improve your life. It'll help you relax a little bit when it comes to the practical details. That's what they just said. Because I feel like, you know, some people need more detail orientation in their physical life. Like, they need to be more conscientious about their diet and their daily habits and, you know, things like that. But with you specifically, group 3, I feel like it's the opposite. You kind of need to like loosen the reins a little bit and let yourself have more leeway in your daily habits, routines, and how you're treating yourself in regard to those. Oh, you got that queen bee. Love it. Love me some bees. And I thought I saw 333 on the recording time, and as I'm saying that, it went over to 333, and I love those bees. Yeah. Okay. So, they said divine creation is relaxed. That's what I just got from the queen bee. Divine creation is relaxed. And they're showing me an artist that looks kind of like, I don't know, what I assume Picasso would look like or something. Furiously painting something, like aggressively painting something, and then getting really frustrated and smashing the canvas and the easel and breaking his paintbrush in half. And it's like, okay, but love the passion, but maybe it's misdirected a little bit there. It's like divine creation is easy. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to just flow. It's meant to just come out of you. And sure, it might evoke emotions. It might be cathartic in many different ways. Even if it's something mundane like exercising, it can release a lot of energy. Pent-up emotion comes out of the fascia and the muscles and the tissues in the body. But it's not meant to be aggressively frustrating. It's meant to test you a little bit, but not to the point where you are feeling like you want to give up on it. So if you get to that point, just like they keep saying, take a step back, breathe, relax, and then allow it to flow. And that's what's going to lead you to the treasure here with the pearl. Okay? And the pink color is standing out to me, and you had that here, the pink with the strawberry milk. So it feels like sweetness and compassion, because that's the energy that I get from pink. It's like being gentle, being soft approach. They just took me to the word today here in this card. So it's like take it one day at a time, be gentle today. And that was something that I started implementing when I first learned to do Reiki as well. It was like, just for today, I will be kind to myself. And if it's just for today, it's easier, you know? Sometimes that perfectionistic mindset is very all or nothing. It's very black and white. And it's like, I need to be perfect all the time, every single day from here on out. And that's not practical. That's not going to get you to that goal. That's the fool's gold, because it gives you the illusion of control, but really you're setting yourself back, getting yourself out of alignment, out of the flow. So in those Reiki principles, I started implementing that consciousness of just for today, or even just for this moment, just for today, just for this moment, I'm going to be kind to myself. And it's kind of like that whole principle of like one day at a time. And I still take every day one day at a time, and it's easier that way. And I set up those routines and those structures, and I feel like Spirit's calling you to do that, group number 3. Set up routines and structures in your daily life that give you a sense of support, and then just take it one day at a time from there and see where it takes you, and let your spirit guide you. They just said, let your spirit guide you. Flow through your day, intuitively direct your life. Because there's going to be some pretty major keys that Spirit is bringing in and unlocking for you. And it's going to lead to a lot of abundance, a lot of wealth, a lot of peace within yourself. Because that's where all wealth comes from. Inner peace. And you nourishing yourself is going to help. So this could have to do with physical health, because that's come up several times in the reading. So being compassionate in your approach to food and exercise is definitely a message I'm seeing this reading for you, group number 3. Yeah, they said nourish yourself kindly, and they pointed at the queen bee. So nourish yourself kindly. Like what would be a kind way to nourish yourself? I guess, having moderation, probably, choosing healthy things, but also not depriving yourself of the things that bring you joy. That would be a kind way of nourishing yourself. And when it comes to nourishment, it can also be spiritual nourishment, emotional fulfillment, creative expression can also be a form of nourishment. So we can really see how this applies to every area of life. So be flexible, group 3, because life isn't meant to be rigid. It's meant to be open for you to explore and experience. All right, so I think that is everything that Spirit wanted to talk about today. I am getting that feeling of completion, similar to like, okay, I've completed the canvas. Maybe it's not exactly perfect, but it's good enough. It's good enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed my good enough reading, and that it helped you in some way, because that's always my highest intention, is that these readings support you in your spiritual growth and evolution, and that they provide insight, healing, confirmation, synchronicities, or whatever it is that you need to walk this path in an empowered way. Thank you so much for being here and supporting my work on the channel, you guys. I appreciate all your likes, comments, donations of cards or money, memberships here, the members on the channel who support my work that way and get the added benefits of the members pick a card readings and the monthly live streams. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love and appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading.